Welcome to Solving Two-Step Equations, Chapter 2, Section 8. Objective here is to learn to solve two-step equations. You have correctly solved these type of problems in the past. You need to subtract 3 from both sides so that x is equal to 3, and this is a solution. Now, sometimes more than one of these are done. For example, you might have 2x plus 3 equal to 6. Now when that happens, you need to ask yourself, what is being done to the variable and in what order? So looking at this, what is being done to our x? Well, our x is being multiplied by 2, and then 3 is being added to it. So this is what's happening first, and then this is what's happening second to the x. What we need to do is then work backwards to undo these operations. So what we're going to do is first undo the addition of 3. So that's where I subtracted 3 from both sides. These will cancel and the 2 will come straight down. Then I will need to undo this multiplication. So we're going to divide by 2 to undo the multiplication, and whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. So x is equal to 3/2, which can be correctly written as x is equal to 1 1/2. So you will hear me repeat this over and over. What is being done to the variable and in what order? Now work backwards. Okay, let's look at the first problem in your notebook. A mechanic's bill to repair Mr. Wong's car was $650. If the mechanic charges $45 an hour. So for every hour it's $45. $45 for 1 hour, 45 times 2 for 2 hours, 45 times 3 for 3 hours. And, often that's used as plus, the parts that were used cost $443. We want to know how many hours did the mechanic work on the car. This is his total bill. So the answer is the number of hours, or H, the mechanic worked on the car. The parts, if you read again above, you'll see cost $443, and the labor costs $45 per hour. The total bill, circled up there, is $650. So this is our constant. It's not going to change. The parts cost is going to stay the same no matter what. The labor has a variable attached to it because it could change. Like I said, 1 hour is $45, 2 hours is 2 times 45, or $90, 3 hours would be 3 times 45, etc. So we're going to have the total bill, $650, plus the parts, $443. That's our constant, so there's no variable. 650 equals our parts plus the hourly wage times the number of hours they worked. In this case, the variable is first multiplied by the $45. And then the $443 is added to the result. So we need to work backwards. So we need to take the $443 and undo that first. So we're going to subtract the $443 from both sides of the equation and then divide both sides of the new equation by 45. Again, we're going to work backwards to undo the operations. $650, $443 for the parts, $45 for the labor per hour, multiplied by H. Our first step is to undo the addition. Remember previously we have our H being multiplied by $45, and then 443 is being added to it. So we're going to subtract, because we're going to undo the last step first. Subtract, we're left with 45 hours here. 650 minus 443 is going to be 207. So we're going to have to divide to undo the multiplication. So we're going to divide by 45, both sides. So H is left on this side, and 45 goes into that 4 6/10 hours. Now, it's always a good idea to look back. So if the mechanic worked 4 and 6/10 hours, the labor would be the $45 times the 4 and 6/10, which equals 270. So the sum of the parts and the labor, parts were 443, labor was 207, and check if that does equal 650. And of course it does. Let's look at the second example. Again, as a reminder, before solving, ask yourself what is being done to the variable and in what order, and then work backwards. So here's our variable. Our variable is being divided by 3, and then we're adding 7. So first we are dividing by 3, and then 7 is added. So this is the last thing done, so it's the first thing we take care of. So we're going to subtract 7, and then we'll multiply by 3. So n is being divided by 3, add 7, so we're going to undo the 7 first. It's the last thing being done. So n divided by 3 is going to equal 15. Now, to isolate the n, we're going to multiply both sides by 3. What we do to one side, we must do the other. And so n is going to equal 45. And again, we can put it into an equation to check. 45 divided by 3 plus 7, does that equal 22? I am not sure, so let's figure it out. 45 divided by 3 is 15. Does 15 plus 7 equal 22? It does. And so, yes, these are successful. And that is a correct solution. Let's look at the next problem. Repeat. Before solving, ask yourself, what is being done to the variable? And in what order? So here we have y minus 4 divided by 3. So y minus 4 is step 1, and divided by 3 is step 2. First, 4 is being subtracted, and then it's being divided by 3. So to isolate the variable, we're going to multiply by 3, and then add 4. So we're going to multiply by 3 because that's the last thing being done. Y minus 4, all of it divided by 3. These cancel. This equals 27. Now we have y minus 4 equals 27. Isolate the y by adding 4. So y is going to equal 31. You have to try this. Please be careful in doing them.